Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and also I almost forgot to mention this. If you do enjoy videos like these and simply want to support the channel, please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It really does help me out, and for one thing, I appreciate it, and for another thing, it helps out with the YouTube algorithm and recommending my videos, so it definitely does help me out, and it only takes a few seconds. So I really appreciate the love if you want to show some support, and as you can see from my portfolio today, we had an absolutely amazing day in the stock market, about a $1,700 gain from what we can see right now. We're currently up 2.13%, and it is currently 3:57 p.m. So we're about to enter the aftermarket hours for the stock market. So as you can see today, if we look at the general stock market trend, VOO is a pretty good representative of that. It tracks the top 508 companies in the S&P 500. And as you can see right here, this is pretty much the perfect sort of stock market day that you would like to get. This is when it starts out at a high amount and stays consistently in that area throughout the whole day until the very end of the day. So far, it's not like we saw it start out early and then spike down towards the end of the day. It's just total consistency, and it's actually even more than consistency because it starts out and it maintains consistency, but it ends up even higher than where it started at, but we still see that consistent trend line. So this is honestly one of the best days that you can actually get in the stock market. In my opinion, it's actually a pretty rare occasion where you see this consistency throughout the full day. A lot of the times it will start either under in the red and then in green, or it'll start in the red and in red, or it'll start in the green and in red. But when you have a really good consistent day like this where it starts way up in the green and ends way up in the green and the full day is like that, then that's kind of like a rare occurrence that I'm honestly grateful for sure, because it doesn't happen very often. So I am glad to see this happening, and it's definitely a little bit surprising to see, honestly, given the fact that so many people have been predicting a stock market crash or a recession coming up in the future, and it seems like the farther and farther that we go on, especially over this past week, it seems to recover even more and more, way past what people were expecting. A lot of people at this point are just looking for that stock market crash that they think is going to happen, and the stock market keeps exceeding everyone's expectations regardless of what is happening in the environment right now, what is happening in the news, what is happening around the world. It doesn't matter to the stock market, and this is one of those situations where it's like the economy is actually a different thing from the stock market. For one thing, I think a big influence on why the stock market is doing so well right now is especially with a lot of people out of jobs and on unemployment. And if I say so myself, there's a lot of people earning more money on unemployment than they have been with their normal jobs. And in my opinion, that is not a good thing, because it means that people will be more influenced to get on unemployment than to just simply work, and you can't really blame them for that, but it's definitely not a good thing for the economy in general. But as more people get on unemployment and face other financial issues, it seems that the stock market is one of the very few options out here where you can actually get a passive income. And like with today, if you have a large investment, you can gain a significant amount of money. This is an all-time high for my portfolio. I'll just go ahead and show the rundown for the all-time, the weekly, the monthly, 3 months, and then of course the year. And we'll go all time. It shows everything. So this $80,300 is the most money that I've ever had in my account that has been recorded as part of the daily recorded statistic for each day. So as you can see, June 5th, today, this is the highest point my portfolio has ever been at. And as we know, if we go back in time, it's going to factor in how much money I have added after this point. So this isn't really how much I had in the market on the 19th. This factors in what I've put in cash since then. So Robinhood is a little bit strange when it comes to this. This isn't actually the amount of money I had on the 19th. I'd say I had about 70 or 68,000 at this point. But in simple terms of just percentage growth, what we have right now is the most I have ever had in the stock market, which is pretty awesome. Honestly, it gets me super excited about everything, and I cannot express enough how much of a fantastic day that we had today in the stock market. And so far, after hours, as you can see, we're just a few minutes into after hours, a little after 4 p.m. It's a tiny bit negative, and that always changes, just like it changed for today. I know I was looking at the stock market at like 5 a.m., and then in the after hours, everything was up significantly for today. So the after hours and aftermarket numbers do change a lot. up until it's time for the actual market hours. And as a side note, just to address what I think is going to happen with the stock market in the future, as I've emphasized before in previous videos, no one really knows what is going to happen with the stock market. You can't consistently predict the stock market and where it goes accurately every time. So it's pretty much impossible to predict consistently, and that is why investors commonly emphasize that time in the market is better than timing the market, because timing the market is pretty much based off of gambling, because you never know whether it's going to be up or down the next day, or what the general trend will be for the next few weeks or even the next few months. So trying to time the market is almost like gambling, because the market does not play with rationality sometimes. The market is not rational sometimes, and sometimes people aren't rational according to the market. So like I always emphasize, I don't think it's a bad thing simply to just dollar cost average, and if a stock does seem too high but you simply want to get into the market, I think that sometimes there's nothing really wrong with paying a premium for a stock price. For example, I've been buying Tesla stock near high prices recently, and I'm still up a significant amount in this stock. It's made me actually a lot of money within the past few months or so. So in my opinion, whether I think the stock market is going to go up or down in the future, at this point, I feel like the stock market is going to ignore all of these negative aspects of reality, and the fact that everything is starting to look bright in terms of our future, in terms of like the Rona situation being perceived as less of a threat, and of course we had the phasing out of the lockdown and quarantine where businesses are starting back up, people are starting to get their jobs. And another important aspect that I think influenced the stock movement today is I believe unemployment actually decreased from what it was. I think it was like 13% or something. So with the month of May, people were actually able to get back into their businesses, and as the lockdown is canceled in some of the states, businesses are actually able to return to their normal ways. So I do see a bright future if we stay on this path of businesses returning to normal, people getting their jobs back. I think one of the biggest key factors is to get a lot of people off unemployment, because it is not sustainable to have like 20% of the population on unemployment. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with unemployment, but when it happens for a long period of time, it has an influence on people, and when you don't have to work to get that money, I think it has a bad influence on those individuals, where it can sort of influence like a non-working attitude. Some people will just not want to work anymore, and of course there's plenty of hard workers on unemployment that are simply just in a rough situation. I completely understand that. But I'm just comparing it to the example. Like, for example, when we went to school back in the day, say we missed a day for being sick, and then the next day after that, we felt pretty good, probably good enough to go to school, but we didn't want to go, so we just used the excuse that we were still sick. So I think that kind of plays along with unemployment. As people stay on it longer and longer and don't really have to work or anything, they're going to get used to that lifestyle. And that's why I think it's so important that we have that $600 pandemic assistance cutoff that I think is supposed to end in June or July. I think with that cutoff, unemployment will just not be enough funds per week for people to want to stay on it instead of a job, because with that extra $600 on top of unemployment, people are much more likely to just want to do unemployment, because a lot of people earn more on unemployment than their original jobs. So I think that $600 cutoff is crucial. I think stimulus checks are fine because everybody gets it, but with unemployment, I really do feel bad for the healthcare workers that are earning less than some people on unemployment right now. I just feel like that's not super fair. But anyways, I think a lot of this future on whether a crash is going to happen in the stock market and all of that stuff is obviously going to depend on the economy, but a big factor of the economy is unemployment and whether we can get most of these people off unemployment. Because in my opinion, it just doesn't teach people good working habits when people are on unemployment for a long time. It's easy to get used to the idea of just relaxing and getting paid for it. And I say this as a person that has utilized unemployment before, so don't get me wrong, I'm not looking down on anyone or anything like that. But anyways, jumping onto the stocks today, I just want to break down my gains and losses for today. Actually, no losses. As you can see, the full board is green for all of my stocks in my portfolio. Even the free stock is up significantly. Holy crap. 17.50%. So first off, we're going to jump right into Microsoft stock. I own 193 shares. It takes up about 45% of my portfolio. And for today, we gained about $807, which equals to plus 2.29% for today. Absolutely tremendous move upwards. And in total, we are plus 9.28% or plus $3,067, which is absolutely crazy. I love to see a day like this, especially for Microsoft, which is my largest holding in my portfolio. And as you can see from today, ever since the pre-market, we had a little bit of volatility towards the beginning until it hit the normal market hours, and then it just went on upwards for the rest of the day. Just a tremendous move upwards until the end of the day. So I'm super happy to see a day like this for Microsoft. This could actually be the all-time high for Microsoft. I think that it may have hit all-time high. That is 187.28, I believe. So today is 187.10. So not an all-time high, but super, super close. So I love to see that with Microsoft. And then, of course, we have an upcoming dividend for $57.63. And then next up, we have Tesla stock. This is my favorite stock to research right now. My favorite stock out of all of them. I love Microsoft, but I think Tesla is the most interesting given their plan for the future, the current moves that they're making in the industry right now. And, of course, Elon Musk is a nice addition as well. I love the dude. I'm a big fanboy. But as you can see from today, we own, and by the way, I own 28 shares. But for today's return, it is plus 2.40% or plus $580, which equals to a total return of 8.14%, which is plus $1,865. And if we go back to our final large holding in our stock portfolio, this is Apple stock. Apple stock is actually going crazy lately, and Apple stock just does not care about what analysts have to say for its fair value because it's still moving on upward. If you look at the past year, I believe we're at an all-time high for Apple. I currently own 42 shares, takes up 17% of my portfolio, and for today we are plus 2.77% or plus $375, and in total we are at plus 15.84% or plus $1,902, which is absolutely amazing. I love Apple stock, and I cannot believe it's still moving upwards like this in comparison to what its fair value is at, but I love to see it. And then, of course, Marathon Oil. This is a free stock that I own, and we are at plus $7.32 overall. And, of course, a nice $1 return on this today as well. I'm waiting for it to hit like $11 or something like that, I believe. So, yeah, I'll probably sell once this hits around the $10 or $11 mark. But anyways, I just wanted to share this little portfolio update for you all. This is my largest portfolio holding of all time, and I'm super excited to see us finally hit past that $80,000 mark. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It really does help me out. And if you would like to begin investing, feel free to use my referral links down in the description below to Robinhood and Webull. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks, which is pretty awesome. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and stay safe out there.